my prices back to my prices in Nassau.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
been going ever since.
Awesome. Wow, so you can make it in Grand Bahama.
You have to fight.
Yeah.
You have to want it.
Wow.
I have a saying that says from an artist, you got to make it or make it. That's the option.
That's the option.
You got to make it or make it.
And certainly is that option we want to leave with you today. As we reflect on Alex's story, and we want to commend your sister, your uncle, all those who helped you along the way. Even that boss that saw the potential in you to make you a manager at age 19, that's incredible. That's incredible. But I hope this story inspires you not to only move from where you are right now, to know that wherever life takes you, that there is the road to success that you can find. And so with that said, I leave you with this challenge. We call it the Bounce Back Challenge. And that is simply, how do you get something? How do you get something you've never had? You're gonna have to be prepared to do something you've never done. So on behalf of my technical team, thank you so much, Alex Diaz, for joining us. Truly phenomenal story, and I'm sure we're gonna get some patties later. But thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes, well.
And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Joe Davis-Roll. God bless.
On Lyford Key, I'm Tanya Smith-Cartwright. This is ZNX.
Welcome to What's Trending, the show keeping you in the know with all that's happening in lifestyle and entertainment. I'm your host, Stacey Campbell Marshall. China's population has shrunken for 2 years in a row, and its birth rate last year was the lowest since the founding of the People's Republic in 1949. In 2022, the country was surpassed by India as the world's most populous nation. Chinese officials see a direct link between fewer marriages and falling births in the country, where social norms and governmental regulations make it challenging for unmarried couples to have children. To reverse the decline, China officials have rolled out a raft of measures, from financial incentives, blind dating events, mass weddings, and propaganda campaigns, to nudge young people to tie the knot and have children. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is recommending high-risk adults get a second updated COVID vaccine to bolster their protection against the virus. The agency now recommends that people ages 65 and up and those with weakened immune systems get the second dose 6 months after their first dose. This is not the first time the agency has made the recommendation for at-risk groups. The suggestion was put forward from 2022 to the spring of 2024. And a man in Mississippi died after being buried under hot asphalt while trying to repair a dump truck. The 41-year-old was working on a hydraulic line when the tailgate opened and the asphalt fell on him. Officials indicated that there appeared to have been some malfunction with the dump truck. People on the scene tried to assist, but the injuries were described as too enormous for survival. On today's show, learn more about a murder mystery dinner. We have a young artisan in studio to tell us about her journey as a prominent artist, and our Weekend Vibes have you covered. All coming up after the break.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, that's good enough to eat, that is good to grow. It's good enough to eat, that is good to grow.
Meet Prescott Smith. He's been a part of the fly fishing industry as a guide for over 30 years, and he is a finalist for the Lifetime Achievement Award for the upcoming Anchor Award ceremony on November 16th.
I am grateful for the nomination. But the overall goal to me has always been about how do we empower Bahamians through this industry.
Over the past 30 years, Smith has contributed greatly to the industry.
I am very passionate about developing the industry in terms of Bahamian ownership and to see guides in the industry truly empowered. And we've made some major steps in that journey, getting the legislation passed, legitimizing the guiding profession, getting the key sports fish, bonefish, tarpon, permit protected. But there are a few final steps that would really seal the foundation for Bahamians to be true owners in our #1 industry. And so we are well on our way there. But one of the key final steps would be that the guides get the various policies put in place that would allow them to get the kind of equipment to operate at the highest standard and to expand the industry.
He adds that his hope is to ensure that Bahamians have ownership in the fly fishing industry.
It extends way beyond just guiding and lodge ownership. It involves the Bahamian artists, it involves the Bahamian scientists, it involves all of the research, so it impacts our entire education system, and the country can reap in the billions of dollars once this industry is developed in that way.
If you want to support Mr. Smith, purchase your tickets today for the Anchor Awards at www.ticketflare.com/Anchor Awards. Tickets are $60 per person. The ceremony kicks off Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at the Baha Mar Convention Center. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Murder mystery dinners are immersive events allowing guests to take on roles to solve a murder while enjoying a multi-course meal. They blend elements of theater, role-playing, and a dinner party. They're popular for corporate events and even fundraisers. Locally, Raquel Roll is the founder of 3 Course Murder and is here to tell us about the experience. Welcome, Raquel.
Thank you, Stacy.
So listen, how popular are these events, and tell me what attracted you to even wanting to host them?
So we started in January, and since then we've had shows that we had to bring back because it's so popular. And what made me want to do something like this here in the Bahamas is during my travels, I've noticed that it was something that was very, very catchy, and we love to eat and watch a good film, so why not bring a live play to you as you eat or you sip and solve.
So it is a live play. So tell me what all goes into planning this and making it come to life.
So firstly, we started with Jazz to Kill. That's like a 1920s type of theme. So what I would do is I write our own shows. I would come up with a theme that's kind of trendy, would make people want to dress up and be intrigued. The cast would, of course, go through an immense amount of rehearsals, and we would bring it to you live. Like it's a live play, and it's immersive, it's interactive. The cast are immersing with you. We've even had where the cast may even eat off your plate at some point, so it's very, very fun and very exciting.
Yeah, you know, I was privileged to experience Jazz to Kill, and I have to tell you, I was so surprised that the actors were Bahamian. I was really impressed by the talent in the play. And how did you choose some of these actors?
So honestly, majority of our actors are very, very new. A lot of persons don't know they're new, so we stream from persons that are novices to advanced, of course, and I train them. So I give them the challenge, and it was very, very challenging with the Southern accents, and anybody who knows me knows I'm very much a perfectionist. But they were able to execute it. I love them dearly. Great cast.
And I have to say, like, the accents, as a person who grew up in America, I thought that they came from New Orleans. I mean, they really, really nailed it, and it was definitely an immersive experience. So let's talk about the location for these events.
Right.
So currently you're at John Watling?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're at John Watling's now. We started at Prime, and we wanted to go to another location to bring a different flair as well. So we went to John Watling's, which is in the height of a tourist attraction area. So that was part of our phase 2. So now we're going to aggressively go after the tourists, and so it'll be a great experience.
So let's talk about the cost, because, you know, I know that sometimes it can be a couple that goes, it can be a group of friends, it can
Right.
be, you know, corporate. Let's talk about the cost of, you know, putting together one of these parties.
So the cost of this experience is $75 per person, and that's inclusive of unlimited cocktails from John Wallace.
And how many course meal?
So we did the 3-course meal. That would have been $175.
Okay.
That's 3 course. That's an appetizer, entree, and of course a dessert. And then it also came with cocktails as well.
Nice, nice. So there are going to be some people who are like, child, I'm not trying to be a part of any murder mystery. They might think it's a little scary, or, you know, what do you have to say to that person?
So for us, we're doing it under the umbrella of my other company called Real Laughs Network. So I created 3-course murder underneath that company. And anybody who's familiar with Real Laughs Network know everything that we do is comedic. So what we do is we use a lot of dark humor, so it's very, very fun. It's not gory or anything like that. It's fun, it's hilarious, and we just make it very, very lighthearted.
Good, good. And so let's talk about arts in the Bahamas, because like I said, I was very surprised at how incredibly believable and seamless your crew, your group of how they were. And let's talk about in the Bahamas how we need to encourage, you know, the arts more. You as a playwright, let's talk about that.
So I've been writing plays essentially for 10 years. And so a lot of persons who would have come to a play or two would have known exactly what it is they're in for. So it's just a matter of awareness. Being a trailblazer of something of this magnitude with something so innovative, something so new. Of course, we did have our challenges because we had to make people aware of what it is. So now that persons are aware, they're coming out now and supporting. And then what also helps is that persons like you who are familiar with the art, you go out and you tell other persons who may be a little reluctant. So it's word of mouth that helps a lot more so than posting it on Facebook. They want to hear from persons who would have actually experienced it. Yeah.
And cast was the word I was looking for, cast.
Yes.
So in promoting 3-Course Murder, where can people go to find tickets, find information of when it's showing?
So we do have a website, 3coursemurder.com, as well as we're available on all social sites. That's Facebook, Instagram, and of course TikTok. Very trendy on TikTok now. So we're available there. Of course, they can also reach out to our direct hotline. It's 431-4094.
Okay.
431-4094.
Good,
Yes.
good. And so we were saying that it's not just, so once a week right now is when
Right.
the show is offered. What days are they offered?
So right now we have a show that's going to go on Saturday.
Okay.
So we still have a few tickets left for persons who want to book.
Okay.
But typically we're playing with either Saturday or Sunday.
And then what about, you know, people want to have private parties, if they, you know,
Yes.
want to host a birthday party, a corporate event, do you offer that service as well?
Of course, we've already gotten a lot of corporate bookings for persons who want to introduce us to their staff parties. So we've got a lot of bookings. We have a few dates available. So if you're interested in doing something fun and innovative and immersive for your staff, I recommend a murder mystery party.
Yeah, that really does sound like a lot of fun for a corporate party. And in general, how would you say the Bahamian public has been, how has the reception been, you know, to the events?
It's been so good because, you know, whenever we're watching a good movie, we tend to want to talk and immerse anyway. So imagine you being here at a show and it's allowed.
Right.
So it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did that. So I love that our people want to be so interactive and immersive. And I love that I'm able to bring this different night cultural experience here to the Bahamas.
Yes,
That's so important.
Yeah, so Raquel, thank you so much for being on What's Trending today. I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to going to another show.
Thank you so much.
We've got our weekend vibes right after the break.
Just what is it that you want to do? And we want to have a good time. We want to be free to do what we want to do.
holds significant importance as it impacts culture, evokes emotions, serves as a means of communication, as well as personal expression and healing. To discuss her journey as a top artist in the Bahamas is Manola Butler. Welcome to the show, Manola.
Thank you for having me.
So listen, tell me about your, early entry into the art world. You were very young when you began, so tell us about that.
Well, art started with me at the age of 5.
Oh, wow.
So that was my beginning point, and not starting at 5, watching my brothers, my older brothers, because I'm the youngest, venture into their own art journey. So I would watch them paint, or they would sit me down and have me paint with them, school assignments. So the love grew from then.
Okay. So I see that, that probably was your inspiration, but do you think that the gift was innate?
The gift, yeah, the gift was already there. I think it just sparked it. Because they are my older siblings, so, you always want to do what the older siblings does. And then they realized I was really good at it, and then it was on from then.
Okay. So tell me, how did you develop your skill? So, in terms of practicing every day, how do you go about making sure that you are developing your skills?
Rest is important.
Okay.
People think that we sit down all day and we just paint. But I think I've taught myself to rest.
All right.
Reset, restart, go back. When it doesn't work out, rest. Go at it again. And that's exactly how I develop my skills.
Okay, so you're known as the coffee lady. So I'm interested to know how you, came about that name. These pieces here are painted or drawn with coffee. So how did that happen? How did you figure out that you can make art with coffee?
I call it a happy little mistake.
Okay.
So one day I was working on a piece, a very important piece. I was drinking coffee. I love to drink coffee in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. in the morning. Best time to work for me. And I was getting tired, and then accident happened. I just hit over the coffee, and I looked at it very frustrated. I was like, what? This is very interesting. I should do this. It was a thought in the back of my head. I had to push it aside, and then the next day, I went back into it.
Wow. And you really have created some beautiful pieces with the coffee. So you also incorporate, our country into your work, the Bahamas into your work. So tell us about that.
So the piece you're looking at was actually created in the 10th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, this was 2008.
Okay.
2008, actually 2007. I remember just sitting down, and my art teacher at the time, Landrick Ross at Doris Johnson, I might add that in. He wanted me to create a piece for BGCSE, and he always wanted me to work on the Ponciana, because we always had this thing where we had to, go into Bahamian scenery, and that's how we learned to appreciate, and as an artist, get into depth with landscape.
Yeah.
And this wasn't my first piece. This was actually my second piece during that time. And this was the root and the beginning stage of me actually painting.
All right. I mean, this is so detailed for somebody in the 10th grade. So, that goes into a question I'd like to ask you about encouraging children. As parents, how important is it if you see that your child loves to doodle, loves to draw, how important is it to encourage them?
It's very important. I think you need to invest. I think a lot of people don't want to invest in certain things because we always look at art, particularly as a hobby, nothing that is actually real. We tend to lean on other subjects because of society and what people tell us is more important. But the creative field is very important. Everywhere we look, creatives. We have graphic art, we have all kind of art. These things attract our business, and we are very important. So if your kid or your kids want to take the time and journey into something like art, I think you should have patience, and you should be willing to invest in your child or whomever you think would be great at art.
No, I think so many people are worried, will they be able to make a living from it? Can this be an actual career and job that, money is actually coming in? And you've been doing this as an entrepreneur for a very long time now.
Yes, because I had parents that, they didn't go down the path of what if they allow it to happen. Okay. They didn't stop it from happening. I think we overthink it. And that's why things don't develop, and that's why people don't discover themselves. So I was lucky to be surrounded around people who believed in me and gave me a chance to pick my journey.
Yes.
And live through it. And here I am.
And so your artwork is gaining traction on the international scene and even some celebrities. So tell us about that.
It all started actually with the coffee art.
Okay.
So I remember when I did the piece, the Rihanna piece, which you have in front of you, you know, that gained a lot of traction. I didn't expect it to, because I thought people wouldn't understand it, and people still don't understand it because people believe it's coffee now, but people didn't understand it, and then it got picked up by the Shade Room, you know. So that's where the international it sparked, and I was so shocked because at that time I wasn't too familiar with social media, because this is way back. This is a little while, and I realized, I was like, okay, I'm not the only person who likes my work. My family isn't the only people who like my work.
Right.
People actually like what I'm doing, and then that gives me a bit more confidence to say, hey, I'm doing something right, I need to continue, and that's great. And then, you know, you're living and you're watching the moment, and you realize, okay, you're making a good choice.
Yeah. That's nice. So besides, you know, like the celebrities that have, you know, taken a look at your work, you've also been given several awards. And what does that recognition mean to you?
That's amazing. You know what it is to be awarded about something you love doing, you know, and you enjoy it, and then people recognize it, and they decide to say, hey, your work is worthy to be awarded. You should be recognized, and I appreciate that so much, to be honest.
Nice.
It gives you a good boost of confidence.
So for people who want to support your work and say, hey, I want some of her work in my home, where can they find you?
Okay, so I have Facebook. My Facebook name is Art by Minolta. That's Minolta. I also have Instagram, and that's Minolta Butler.
Okay, great. And I did want to ask you one question about this piece, because I know sometimes, you know, us novices, we don't really understand. So what method of, you know, like, is this acrylic or is this oil paint, or what is this?
This is acrylic.
This is acrylic. Okay, this was
like a
acrylic.
textured.
And then I wanted to ask you, how important is framing for a piece? Because I know, you know, oftentimes we'll buy a piece of art, and then if you don't frame it properly, it's almost like, so how important is framing?
I don't think it's as technical as people may think. I've developed art pieces, or seen art pieces that actually don't look any better or any worse when it's framed. Okay. So is the eye of the beholder. So everything around it, not to knock framing, because framing is important for some things. I don't want to do that. So it's what you're going to look at. Do you want it framed? Do you not want it framed? It's your work. Once you purchase it, so if you own it, then you decide whether you want to. But if you want to go down into actually saying what matches up, I suggest you just gold or black.
Oh, okay, all right. And then about choosing pieces that you're gonna buy in your home. You know, a lot of people wanna say, oh, I've got, you know, this artist and that artist. But what advice do you give when it comes to choosing a piece of art?
Choosing something you want to look at every day.
Okay, something you want to look at every day.
Every day. If you want to wake up to something, can you imagine waking up to something you don't like?
Right.
You don't want to do that. If you see it, you like it, you want to buy it, you get it. And if you feel as though you want to wake up and see it every day, and it brings you joy, then you picked a nice piece.
Right, that is fantastic. We are so proud of you,
Thank you.
Minolta. I mean, this is just really, really beautiful work, and we want to make sure that we go out and we support our local artisans. That's really, really important. All right, what's trending? We'll be right back.
In the heart of the Atlantic, where the sun meets the sea, a legacy is honored. For generations, the brave fishermen of the Bahamas have charted the waters, bringing life and sustenance to our shores. Their dedication, their craft, their spirit deserves to be celebrated. Join us for an evening of splendor and reverence as we honor the extraordinary men and women who sail our waters with pride.
A night dedicated to celebrating the unsung heroes of our waters. On November 16th at the Bahama Resort, we're shining a spotlight on those who make waves, both big and small.
The Anchor Awards, where legends of the sea are celebrated.
It's Thursday, and you know what that means? We've got your weekend vibes. We are taking you back to the luxurious residential Balmoral Club for this week's Weekend Vibes. It's a place offering a wide variety of fine dining with unique and special offerings in a serene environment.
We also have a number of amenities. We have a swimming pool. We have 3 clay tennis courts. We have the only 24-hour gym in the Bahamas. And we obviously have some meeting rooms and event spaces. We have our dining room, which operates Tuesday through Sunday from 12 noon to 9 p.m. And our bar goes along with that, yes.
The Balmoral Club's Cognac and Cigars Happy Hour is also viewed as a classic experience, perfect for anyone who appreciates fine spirits and cigars in a sophisticated setting.
This one is for the boys, and certainly it's for the guys, but we know in this day and age, women are there, and they enjoy the cognac and the cigars. So it's a Friday evening outdoor event where we're partnering with one of the brands that we're going to offer cognac and freshly rolled cigars.
Well, the ladies are not being left out. The club's autumn floral classes are designed for those interested in seasonal decor and creative activities in a charming setting.
Yes, indeed, it is for the ladies, and I must give credit to my membership coordinator who came up with this event. But it's an opportunity for persons to come and learn how to put together a floral arrangement and using real flowers, etc. All while having the experience of a nice meal and a pleasant cocktail to go along with it.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had a feeding